we are getting called crazy. And okay, because we are talking about ourselves when we say these things, and we aren't talking about a theory, we're describing something that happened to us. And just because we don't know who did it doesn't mean it's all in our head. I myself, as well as many other TIs, have actually seen the perps in reality, and I'm not just talking about the gang stalkers at the mall. I'm talking about agents who've sat down and talked with me and worked with me in this program as their test subjects. So, since we have no paperwork and no other evidence that it happened, obviously we're going to be called crazy, especially when we're coming out about it as individuals who get the auditory hallucinations and will come off as paranoid when we say we're being watched. Now, when I first started experiencing symptoms of targeting, I had never heard of V2K or electric energy weapons. In spite of all the information about them that's out there, I'd still never heard of them. This was I'd say almost 2 years ago that I started actually experiencing physical symptoms that I was catching on to, but the testing and the program had been going on for 2 decades before that, and I just wasn't remembering it. And then all of a sudden something clicked and I started remembering everything really well. Too well. And so I took some time off from work and I went to see a doctor to get help. And I have had multiple psychiatric evaluations since then. And yes, we were looking at PTSD, anxiety, but schizophrenia was never on the table. I don't have it. Now I went to see a real doctor and a psychiatric nurse. I did not just see a counselor or therapist. I saw a real doctor and a real psychiatric nurse. They know that not everyone who gets these auditory hallucinations is schizophrenic. And I don't want to say anything bad about schizophrenic people because there probably are a lot of schizophrenic TIs because they probably do target schizophrenic people so they can try to lump us all together and say that we are all just imagining everything or making it up. But not everyone who gets auditory hallucinations is schizophrenic, and then all the other symptoms that TIs are mentioning in unison that are not classic schizo. I mean, I even told them about my auditory symptoms and physical symptoms. I was diagnosed with somatic dysfunction, which is right in line. But perps are ignorant and they will comment that you're schizo and you need to take your meds. And even though they're not doctors, I mean, come on. I don't even get into it with them. They're not trying to convince you to get help. They're trying to discredit you and make you look like a liar in front of everyone whose attention you're going to attract to them. So, and they may even just be getting paid to come and harass you, just like they do all the other time, to try to get a reaction out of you, to lock on to and trigger you with. But, and the reason we know that is because there are other people who are exhibiting the same kind of behavior that we do without trying to say that this isn't magic. But take a look at some witchcraft and alchemy groups. They have way more members than all of my TI groups combined, and they're all posting some things about channeling entities, and they can sound incredibly delusional. And I was reading a board and came across a post where someone admits to talking to themselves and is sure they heard someone answer back, and everyone just says, yeah, that was your spirit guide or whoever, and a lot of things like that. But no one will attack them like that and say, you are just off your rocker or you're schizophrenic if you're hearing voices and you need to take your meds. But same with flat earthers and ancient alien believers. Yeah, they do get called crazy, but their perps aren't out there perpetrating and patrolling on their groups like they are on our channels. I mean, I see a lot more when it's a theory like that than I do when someone is just practicing their religion, like Wicca, or even if they believe that there are other aliens that they want to worship, anything that they want to worship, it's fine. But if you say, actually, I feel this energy coming and it's supernatural, guys, this is a machine, and here's all this proof that these machines exist, and we are getting called the crazy ones. So, yeah, but they're constantly harassing us and telling us to get help, and we do need help down here. We need a lot of it, but our mental health is something that we can tackle after we take care of the source of the problem, and that's the perpetrators.